right? Like I gave myself permission early on and said, Alan, I'm Saturday, I'm down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, I'm down. Sundays are for the family, and that's something I want to start now. I don't want to travel on Sundays. I don't want to do anything on Sundays.
Setting a boundary is actually the same as honoring a core value. So instead of saying, I'm going to set a boundary and be selfish, instead you can reframe it and say, I have a core value of solitude and rest and relaxation, and I'm going to protect that core value.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 1021. Can you work smart without working hard first? Today, for episode number 1022, give yourself permission to set boundaries. I'm just making sure I have everything here that I need to have, and we're recording. Okay. Happy Monday if you are listening to this live. So,
strong work, Kev.
Thank you, man.
Great
job. I appreciate that very much. I'm trying to bring that energy. I'm bringing it. It's going to be fine. I said this early this year on our show and many other shows that I went on, that I think 2022 is the year of boundaries. And I don't know why I said that. I don't know what my thought process was, but I do believe the way you were just looking at me. You looked very surprised at what I was saying. I don't know if it's...
like, you don't know why you said that?
I
know
no
why.
Idea. Why?
COVID, because a lot of people were cooped up together. And...
I think that's wrong. No, I think
you don't think it has anything to do with that?
No,
I think it's the overcorrection of like realizing that. I think it's when COVID happened, a lot of people were in a lot of solitude, but they also were living in close quarters with people and realized that a lot of their boundaries were being trampled upon. At least that was my experience. So, anyways.
Trampled upon. It's possible that I felt that. I don't think so, though. I don't think that was it.
Sounds good.
I think that one of my thoughts was, well, to Alan's point, a lot of things are virtual now. So it might be like, hey, you want to hang out tonight? Oh, no, I can't hang out. Oh, let's do it virtually. Right? And it's a lot harder to make an excuse to say, well, I don't really feel like driving all the way out there. Well, you're just going to drive your butt to the couch and log on to your Zoom account. We can hang out. I think that's probably why I was thinking that.
Oh,
so...
well played.
Thank you. I appreciate
Which,
that.
again, attached to COVID. I'm just joking.
So last weekend, I would say the last month, Alan, the month of June was probably the most spread thin I've ever been, I would say. There was like a lot going on, not in a bad way, just a lot of things going on. And I had plans with one of my buddies 2 weekends ago, if you're listening to this. And we were chatting for like a week before, and I said, hey, my thought is maybe I'll come down on Friday. He just got a new puppy, and I wanted to go see his new puppy, and I haven't seen him in a couple months. And I said, yeah, maybe I'll come down Friday. Like, let me just see. I don't know. I can't guarantee I'll be able to, but maybe my calendar will not be crazy and I'll be able to. And Monday happens. Monday's a wash because we record episodes. Monday's, 5:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. That's gone completely. Tuesday, I think I was on a ton of podcasts. We get to Wednesday, and I sent him a message and said, hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do Friday. Maybe we can do Saturday, or maybe we can hang out virtually. Like maybe we can log on PlayStation and play together Friday or Saturday. I don't know. I'm probably not going to be able to come down, though. My last meeting gets over at 7 on Friday, and I have a 9 a.m. My last meeting gets done at Friday at 7. My first meeting on Saturday morning is 9 a.m. Again, Alan and I are recording this.
Even though literally it's that day right now and it's 8:30 p.m. So that last meeting went a little later than expected.
No,
so
this was last week.
Luckily you did this.
No, this was last week.
Okay,
The same thing happened last week, though. Go figure.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But yes, that's why I cannot speak properly, because I am half asleep at the wheel, at the mic here. So I said, I don't know if it's going to work. Like, I'll try. I'll let you know. I don't know if it's going to work. It literally got to the point where I had a conversation with myself. I was sitting on the couch Friday, and this person audioed me. They audio messaged me, and I saw it come through, and I said, I can't respond to that right now. Like, there's too many other things. I'm not even worried about that. I get up Saturday, and Saturday was a full day, and then I think I watched UFC, and I had another audio message from the same person. And I was like, honestly, and this is where my thought for this episode came from. I had a conversation with myself where I said, look, I'm going to make this a boundary. I'm putting my phone away for the rest of the weekend. And if and when this person has a problem with me not answering, which I don't think they will, I'm just going to say, look, I set a boundary that I was not going to be on my phone because I was literally in front of people for 12 hours a day last week. And I'm just burnt out. I'm spread thin. I need time for me. That is where I came up with a thought for this episode is I didn't always have the courage to do that. I mean, that requires a fair amount of courage to say, look, this person might be mad at me, but I want to be okay with that because I'm filling my own cup and I really am spread thin. To the point, Alan, where tomorrow, and you and I had this conversation, I said, Alan, there's a big UFC card on tomorrow. My phone is going to be shut off at 5 p.m. I need me time. Like I'm burning down. I'm spread really, really thin. Now, Alan's very receptive of that, obviously, but that was me setting a boundary and saying, look, I need this boundary. Like I need to set this boundary because I really am burning down. So my goal with this episode is I think a lot of us struggle with giving ourselves permission. I had to give myself permission to say, you know what? Maybe it does feel a little bit selfish. Maybe it might be misconstrued from this other person's point of view as a little bit selfish. Maybe it's uncomfortable. Maybe I'll have a negative association to this after. I don't know. But I want to give myself permission to turn off and put up a wall here because that's not something I do very often. So I think Monday came and I was like, all right, Alan, I'm sure you get this, where it's like this audio message has been gathering dust and I know I need to listen to it and I don't want to listen to it. So Monday comes and I think I listened to it Monday night after we recorded. And all it was my buddy, and he said, hey, man, the Friday message was, hey, yeah, just let me know what your day looks like. Let me know if you plan on coming down, whatever. That was pretty much it. The Saturday message was, hey, man, I hope you're doing well. I know we didn't link up last night. I know you said you had a really, really busy week and a really busy night and day. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I know that you're spread thin. That was it. So I set boundaries based on like, hey, I need some R&R, and he was very understanding of them. I sent him a message back and said, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. I dropped the ball totally. That's on me. I was just trying to stay alive. And obviously that's an exaggeration, but I was just trying to exist as a human being. And now, you know the funny thing? He didn't respond to me for 2 days. And he was like, hey, man, so sorry I dropped the ball. Yeah. And it's like, that's just how it works sometimes.
Totally fine.
That's just how it works sometimes. So I think it's very important for you out there to give yourself that permission to say, look, you know, sometimes people will get frustrated with you and that will happen, but you have to have the courage to say, you know what, today I'm putting this boundary up and I'm willing to deal with whatever those repercussions are. And you got to understand too, it gets a little bit easier as you go. I've been trying to do this. Saturday when I'm done, I try to get rid of my phone, and Sunday, I don't want to be on my phone at all. That's my goal, not to be on my phone at all, because it's not productive. I don't want to have my phone, unless I'm like answering messages in the morning, obviously. But after that, I don't want to be scrolling on Facebook. And if that means I miss your text message on Sunday, my apologies, but that's my boundary. And Alan, and you can speak to this, that's been my boundary since the beginning. I don't do things on Sunday. Right? Like I gave myself permission early on and said, Alan, Saturday, I'm down. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, I'm down. Sundays are for the family, and that's something I want to start now. I don't want to travel on Sundays. I don't want to do anything on Sundays. So I gave myself the permission, and Alan was very supportive in that, and the team is very supportive in that. But that started with me saying, look, I'm giving myself that permission. Now let me hope everybody else is on board with that. It's got to start with you.
It's one thing that's really important to clarify in that story, and I think this is another lesson too, and we've done episodes on this, that person that obviously wasn't frustrated with you at all is also an entrepreneur.
Very understanding.
And is also extremely busy. Yeah. And so for our listeners to try to understand them in this, I know for me in the past, that's been really challenging, not with people like who you're referring to. Because the person you're referring to is an entrepreneur, super productive, super busy, knows what it's like to have big goals and dreams. Yeah. Not everybody does. So they have, some people have no concept of what your life is actually like, Kev. You know, it's not like you're going to, text Jennifer Lopez and she's going to be like frustrated that you didn't get back to her. Do you know what I mean? So
I'm not a
there's
huge
levels.
J-Lo fan, so I don't
Wouldn't.
know that. I don't think we'd be friends.
Oh no! What if we interview her? I'm just joking.
I'm
There
sure
goes
maybe-
one of my dreams.
Maybe
you know what I mean?
no. It doesn't mean
I'm a
doesn't
big
mean we
fan.
can't interview her. Just
Okay.
I don't know that I resonate with her.
Okay, fair enough. Either way, the point I'm making is there's certain people who are going to be more understanding than others. We're having fun today, aren't we?
Yeah, no, we're
good.
having too much fun. Yes. Some people will be more understanding than others for sure.
Can you go deeper on what that experience would have been like with someone who maybe doesn't understand what it's like to be super busy and productive and huge goals and dreams?
Yeah, that probably would have been one of the conversations, the vulnerable problem solver conversations that we talk about. I mean, for context, it's one of those things of, hey, I know you're frustrated and I understand, but this is what my life currently looks like and I have to take care of me. This is where I'm at currently with my energy level, with my time that I have available to me. So the vulnerable problem solver basically says, yeah, I completely understand. I empathize with the way you're feeling, but here's the list of reasons why I am making the decisions I'm making, and I hope you understand. I would say that's basically it in a nutshell.
And at the end of the day, some people will see those reasons as excuses.
Yeah.
And you can say, these are not me making an excuse. Like, this is just me setting a boundary. And I think that's the important piece, is clarifying that you're not making excuses as to why you didn't get back to them. Instead, it's, I want to set this boundary and I chose in advance not to get back to you.
Yeah.
And please expect that from now on, type of thing.
Hey guys, so I wanted to jump on here and give a little bit of my experience about group coaching. So mine's been, I guess, a little bit different because I can't just say about group coaching without bringing in the whole, because it's been a really immersive experience for me. So I was just listening to a podcast that was talking about the ripple effect, and it's just so amazing how that just one little decision can just make such a huge impact in your life. And listening to the podcast was that for me, just getting that sent to me and actually listening to it, and it just kept having the ripple effect. I've not only the podcast, I threw myself into book club, trying to make the monthly meetups, Facebook. It's the whole experience for me. And one reason that's kind of held me back before in just really throwing myself into it is that I kind of would get ostracized from the people that I was close to. And so I was kind of hesitant to just be like super into it because I don't want to be lonely. So this group has just really helped with that, because I not only can just get on Facebook every day and see what's been posted and kind of comment and be a part. I have group coaching that was just, I'm learning stuff, I'm applying the habits, and I have other people that's doing the same exact thing, that's struggling. One of the biggest things that I think I gained from group coaching is when I went through that month of being so sick, and just knowing how I would have dealt with that a year ago versus my mindset now, going through it, and I wasn't able to do all of the habits, but I was so determined that I would just try to do as much as I could. And I just couldn't wait until I felt good enough to get back to doing all of them. And that knowledge, like that experience, that understanding meant more to me than getting 100% in the habits. And it's just so much growth. I've just seen so much growth in myself, and I am so appreciative to have the group, to have, that immersive experience. And I really appreciate all that y'all do.
Emilia and I were on the Conscious Couples podcast, and she said something. We were doing a core values boundary setting episode, and she said a one-liner that I think is one of the best things I've ever heard. She said, setting a boundary is actually just honoring a core value. When you set a boundary, all you're really doing is putting a moat around your castle and protecting the castle, and the castle is your core value. So in this case, the core value was R&R and solitude.
Yeah.
We are very grateful for our front-facing public life, and I don't ever want to take that for granted, because I remember what it was like to not have that, and that sucked too. Not this sucks, but there are times, and I just want to be transparent with our listeners, there are times where I do not want to see a human.
Yeah.
I just, coaching and consulting and podcasting and speaking and virtual trainings, it's nothing personal. And I remember back when I was in sales, I kind of had this too. When your entire week is spent with individuals, with people, it's very, very difficult to get solitude where you really are just alone. And then on top of that, we have our amazing relationships, right? So, when I'm playing basketball for an hour and a half the other night in the middle of the night and it's under a floodlight at the park, and I'm just there with my music, and it's the AirPods are noise canceling, and it's me alone, and there's not a soul to be found. There's cars going by every now and then, but for the most part, it's just me. I mean, the amount of cup filling that is for me after a week of just constant front facing, it's really, really important. And if you're on the other end of that, maybe you have so much solitude that you crave being around people, and I've been there too. So you got to find your own sweet spot. But I think it's important. Setting a boundary is actually the same as honoring a core value. So instead of saying, I'm going to set a boundary and be selfish, instead you can reframe it and say, I have a core value of solitude and rest and relaxation, and I'm going to protect that core value. And this is my story, and this one's hard for me. I remember this was about a year and a half ago. And we had an interview, Kev, on David Meltzer's podcast the next day. And I got woken up by a really bad not a bad phone call. It was an unexpected drunk dial from a family member of mine. And I sent this really long text because it was multiple calls. And my phone doesn't ring except for a few select individuals, family members, and Kevin and Amy and Emilia. And it woke me up. And based on the past, I've had many family members who have gotten into car accidents, and I've obviously, dealt with family members passing away, and midnight, 2 a.m. phone calls for me were never really a good thing. They weren't typically good news. They were usually emergencies. And so I got really triggered. And so you and I have an interview on David Meltzer's podcast at 8 a.m. and it's 3 a.m. and I cannot get back to sleep because I got so damn triggered by this phone call. And it turned out nothing was wrong, and it was just trying to catch up. But it was like I sent a text to this person. I said, listen, I had a crazy week. I have an interview that I have to be prepared for at 8 a.m. and it's in front of thousands of individuals. And I really want to be on point, and now I'm exhausted, not to mention we were commuting to the studio back then. So I had to drive, and I could not get back to sleep because I was so triggered from the what I thought was an emergency. And so I tried to set that boundary, and this person was not thrilled with that, and kind of reacted in a way where it was like, oh, you're so good that you can't, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And I just had to stay in my ground and say, like, I have to perform. I know that you don't have these goals like I do, but you have to respect this because I have to perform tomorrow, and I can't get 3 hours of sleep and then do this interview. It's a really challenging intellectual interview. So I hung my ground, and for the listeners, to bring this full circle here, it is uncomfortable, and this is my core value, sleep. My core value is cognition, great interviews, quality work. There's a lot of people that are literally listeners of our show or even on our team that used to, connect with us through David Meltzer and through that podcast. And so I take my work very, very seriously, and some people don't. And quality work is my core value. It is a core value. And when I'm not doing quality work, because I'm getting woken up at 3 a.m., that is unacceptable to me. And so I realized that this person and many people do not value high quality work the way that I do, and that's okay, and I'm not making them wrong for it, but I will not be answering those phone calls again. And I told her that, and it's like I said this, do not call me ever again past 11 p.m. unless it is an actual emergency. And my question for all the listeners and viewers is, where do you need to set a boundary? And I'll tell you, the quality of my life and the quality of my work over the last several years has gone through the roof. And not because I want other people to think our work is great. I want to feel great. I want to feel great about the work that I do in the world. and I want to show up and I want to give my best. And I wasn't able to do that because I didn't have boundaries. And now I feel like I've finally created a life where I've had to say no to certain weddings, and I've had to set boundaries where it was really difficult to do that. And so I knew that story would be hard for me to tell, but I also want you to know that sometimes you have to set boundaries with the people who feel very entitled to your time. They feel they're closest to you. Sometimes it's with the people that are closest to you, and that can be the hardest thing. And I've had to do that. And what I can tell you is, while it was really painful and really challenging and didn't really go well, like Kevin's story went really well, mine not so much. I will say that it was worth it. And the quality of my life has certainly skyrocketed since, and the quality of my work as well, which I think is the core value I was really trying to honor.
It doesn't surprise me that it went well for me and not you. That just seems to kind of seems the way it works, honestly. You know, like my stories are usually I will say pretty positive overall. I haven't told this. I actually just connected this. So obviously it's always, I don't want to say dangerous, but it's risky going down a story that you've never connected. But one of the reasons, Alan, I had this conversation again on a podcast the other day about my dad. And I said, you know, as much as, for those who don't know, I didn't meet my dad until I was 27. We spent a little bit of time together. I saw him a couple times, but it's very hard to insert somebody into your life in a position where they're supposed to be when that's not really the way your life is set up, right? So it's very hard for me to pretend like I should see my dad every weekend or whatever it may be. I think one of the reasons why I've kind of distanced myself is because I understand that my boundaries are going to break the relationship anyway. I really do believe that. I mean, and again, you know, it's obviously an interesting circumstance and an interesting thing, but I can't have my dad calling me in the middle of the day saying, hey, give me a call. It's like, that's not how this works. You know what I mean? And I don't know that I could ever explain the layers of why I can't do that. There's just too many things. There's too many things missing of like, we're trying to change the world, and, you know, I used to make all this money and I was suicidal. Like, there's just too many things for me to explain. So I think one of my thoughts was my boundaries are probably going to destroy this relationship anyway. So I might as well just keep my boundaries up the way they are. So whether that adds value to your life or not, I don't know. But that is me trying to explore that here with you. Are you all right? Are your eyes all right, man?
I'm good. Yeah. My contacts are drying out. My contacts are drying out. And also, I think I'm emotional too a little bit.
I feel like I'm at the zoo and I'm looking into like the bird cages, looking all over the place, man.
I was looking down at the time. It's 8:45 p.m.
on a
Friday after.
We have a team meeting at 9 a.m. 12 hours from today. We have a team meeting, so I will be sleeping.
I got to give the training, man.
I know, you got to give the training. I just show up. I can just roll in. It's kind of like like history class. I just roll in with my coffee.
It's a movie day tomorrow.
It is.
Movie day. Pizza party. I was with Emilia earlier, and I said, Kev, and she was like, really? You guys like haven't recorded yet? No.
We're terrible.
We're going to do that now. And I was like, honestly, she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just cooked. And I was like, one of the most successful, productive weeks of my entire life. Super grateful. But it's interesting because she can tell like I'm a little beaten up, you know?
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like,
ill. Physically ill is how I feel. That's the best way to explain it. I feel physically ill.
But yet really grateful.
Yeah, no,
because
definitely.
It's this weird duality. This is another episode, but it's this weird duality of like, no, best week ever. Great week. Like lots of successes and failures too, but you know, exactly what I wanted, but yeah, I'm a little beaten up. So it's an interesting duality. So anyways, yeah, that's why my eyes are bugging out.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. The point, I mean, the intention for me even saying that is to Alan's point. Sometimes setting boundaries, the hardest people to set boundaries oftentimes are the ones who require the boundaries the most. And that's a challenge, and that's personal, and that's different for everybody. But our goal is always to try to lead by example and say, look, it definitely isn't easy. And there's definitely challenges that go with it. And to Alan's point, sometimes it's painful. For me, it wasn't. Sometimes it's not painful. But our goal is always to use our experiences, our stories, our lessons to maybe lead the charge for you. Just say, hey, this is how we did it. This is how it worked for us. You're on your own journey, of course, but we want you to feel like we're there with you. Can you stop smiling?
I feel like it's, you know what's awesome right now? We're talking about giving yourself permission to set boundaries while we're working at 9 p.m. on a Friday.
I
It's
told you
hilarious.
earlier. I was like,
I
dude,
know.
I don't want to be recording at 9. Here we are.
I know. Here we are. Very last thing I want to say here, real quick. Very important. Very important.
Here, while you do it, and I apologize for everybody who's still here with us in this episode.
Yeah.
While you do it, I'm gonna have my eyes go all over the place. Let's see how you like it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sounds good.
Go
This
ahead.
is funny. All right. What I want to say is this.
Look at the camera. Damn it.
Okay. I can't because I'm looking down. I'm thinking. I like to look down when I think.
Yeah.
It might go better than you think it'll go when you set a boundary. It might go worse. But what I do know is it'll always be worth it. The only wrong answer, if you're on YouTube, you know why we're laughing. If not, check us out on YouTube. But anyways, it might go better than you think. It might go worse than you think, but I do know it'll be worth it. The only wrong answer is to not set a boundary because your core values need to be protected by you. Other people don't know what they are, and they can't, honor your core values if you don't communicate them. So that's it.
Nice. Strong work, man.
Thanks, man.
Strong work. All right. Anything else, man?
The question, most important question. Where do you need to set a boundary? That is
Nice.
it.
That's beautiful.
Where do you need to set one?
That's
thanks,
beautiful.
man.
All right. I'm going to take off. If I stay here any longer, I'm going to fall asleep on this microphone.
I know.
I do enjoy, honestly, candidly, I do enjoy these episodes very, very much where Alan and I are tired and goofy because this is it's a good behind the scenes of a lot of this journey. I mean, you and I have stayed up like overnight working, and we've stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and this is what I'll say. This is a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Example of how we've gotten through a lot of the junk we've gotten through is we just have good times and laugh. All right.
We
Group
do. Lots of
coaching
laughter.
number, excuse me?
Lots of laughter. Thanks.
lots of laughter.
We get funnier as we get more cooked. Luckily.
Lots of
I
laughter.
swear that's one of the reasons we've survived. Honestly.
For sure. Lots of laughter, lots of love. All right. Group coaching number 7 starts July 12th, 2022. If you want the summer to be on fire, come join us for group coaching.
Strong work, man.
Links in the show notes.
Awesome. Also, if you want to join us on the Next Level 9 Challenge, we have an app called Optimal. It is off to the races. We have a leaderboard going. It's awesome. Come track your habits with us. If you do not know what the hashtag Next Level 9 Challenge is, go listen to episode 999. Episode 999, the Next Level 9 Challenge. Click the link in the show notes and check that out. I hope you join us.
Wonderfully said. Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 1023, last week's live podcast. 5 of the most important questions you should be asking yourself. Number 1, have you gotten enough sleep recently? As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning into this goofy, funny episode with Alan and I. As always, at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.